walking these streets alone, singing the same old song. I know every crack in these dirty sidewalks of Broadway, where hustle's the name of the game, and nice guys get washed away like the snow and the rain. There's been a lot of compromising on the road to my horizon, and I'm gonna be where the lights shine on me. Well, the lights are definitely shining on the Web3 gaming industry. And I have with me today Flavien Defraire, who is the Director of Global Development at BGA. And Flavien and I are going to be talking about the state of blockchain gaming in 2024 and what lies ahead. So let's get on with the conversation. So welcome Flavien to my video series, Let the Games Begin.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the invite, Thomas. Really appreciate it. It's going to be fun. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, great, Flavien. At GDC in San Francisco this year, there was clearly a buzz around Web3 gaming. And in fact, when I spoke to a few developers, some of them actually said that, look, there was a boom in 2021 when the bull run happened. And then soon after that, things seem to have gone a bit silent. But having said that, we saw several booths at a GDC, and most of them had a significant presence as far as Web3 gaming is concerned. So Flavien, basically, are we seeing this sudden surge in blockchain gaming, and what would you attribute that to?
Yeah, I think you said a lot of things already in your introduction. I think first, it all comes from a belief, a change in the paradigm of what internet, but gaming, as far as we're concerned, is and should be, coming from what is true ownership of digital assets. And I think a lot of builders are building their games based on this belief that as a player, you can actually own your assets. And it's been quite some years, you said it, like 2021, 2022, a big boom. But still, you have a lot of them staying in the game and developing games based on this belief of blockchain, decentralizations, and ownership. So I think that's now when we are seeing a lot of actual gameplay, which is very important in gaming, obviously, to see that that's possible to enjoy playing a game, but also to understand what's changing, how blockchain is actually enhancing your ability to do something in the game. So that will be my number one reason. And you also see a surge in terms of on-chain activities. When you look at Dapper as an example, you see a lot of on-chain activities. And for me, it means like it's gaining interest in the market. Right. Like the blockchain enthusiasts see a lot of value of being very active in those games as compared with last year and the year before, which is good as well. You also see, I think, an influx of money coming from VC to the blockchain gaming. Yeah, like Dapper said that in April, so we are in June. So in April, you got $988 million put into blockchain gaming, which was the highest month since January 2021. So something is happening in the ecosystem, definitely. Right. And you said it at the beginning, like. The game companies also struggle a lot in the gaming space. Like not everything is happy in the gaming space. Costs are up since 2019. Player spend is up. More than 70% of games are unprofitable, and at the same time, the development costs are actually up as well since 2020. So you see a lot of struggle in the ecosystem. A need for the ecosystem, the gaming ecosystem, to look for new ways to generate revenues. And the other part of that is you see a concrete example of what could be blockchain games. So I think that's the reason why you see a certain surge.
Yeah, and clearly we are also seeing a lot of some trends. For example, some of the slightly more mature gaming studios and projects. We're seeing them wanting to set up custom chains, like a layer 2, layer 3, and really enabling higher transaction speeds, scalability. These are some big issues that are coming up. Greater security and so on, and also creating an opportunity of building tools which will help a whole lot of other smaller game creators to come on board and actually publish their games and become part of an ecosystem. So Immutable is an example of that, right? I mean, they have some 300 plus games today on their platform, but like that, we are seeing many others who have set up a layer 2 under ZK Sync or Polygon or OP-Stack or whatever, and they in turn are going to be replicating this immutable model, which really means that there is also a lot of infrastructure getting created, right, independently by a lot of other significant players. And I think that's, to our mind, is also going to help in sort of propelling all this forward. Yeah. So it gives a ready audience as well as there's sort of ready-made infrastructure. Yeah, but moving on, I just wanted to touch, and you did briefly talk about it, but what do you see as some of the biggest challenges facing this industry?
We actually released the report at the beginning of this year with this same question, and the biggest challenge is, I think the biggest one, and I think we are very aware of it, which is onboarding. You have, I think, two ways to understand that, which are two very good ways. First, which is more related to gaming, because you see that a lot of games launch with the promise ownership and everything, but you don't see a lot of players coming in. So there is one of the reasons is onboarding, because it wasn't, I think it is now, but it wasn't easy to actually onboard a player who just want to play a game into the process of setting up a wallet and do all the things you need to do in order to secure your ability to own your digital items. So it was a long way. And when you want to play a game, definitely you don't have to spend, I don't remember the attention span that you have when you are a gamer, but I know that it might be around 3 seconds. And you need to, as a game company, you need to catch attention of the potential player for the first seconds. And if you're asking him to set up a wallet, that's done. So I think that's one of the things in terms of onboarding. The other part of onboarding is actually based on B2B. Like, if you want players, you need also game companies to be involved in the space to understand the value of blockchain. It was very niche back then in 2021, 2022. So you need game developers and game companies, game publishers to understand the value of it. And onboarding is also part of actually our activities. How we are the bridge between what's happening with the blockchain technology, but also and the gaming industry. And I think it's a big challenge. We'll always have the challenge, still have this challenge. But you saw it at GDC. Like it's moving in the right direction, and I think it's going to be very interesting. Because the other challenge is in terms of good gameplay. I think we struggle with the image we got from 2021, 2022 for providing body gaming experiences of games with blockchain thinking, blockchain mechanisms. And from that, I think we got the narrative of not developing good game with the blockchain layer. So, which is something which is changing. Like if you went to GDC and you maybe played some games yourself, it was definitely a lot of them was very interesting games to play. So I think that's the challenges now.
Yeah, okay. And so one of the things, I was talking to one of the public blockchain, BD folks the other day, and they were saying that in the US and in Europe, for instance, many of the big game studios are still fairly hesitant, or maybe they're not really taking the plunge. I mean, it's a slow movement into Web3. Perhaps they are protecting their own turf, because they put in so much of money in the existing infrastructure. And what he was telling me is that a lot of the action is actually happening in markets like Japan and Korea and maybe China and a few other Asian countries. So I think I think also the fact that if many of these Web2 studios take the plunge, it will really help in they will bring in a lot of resources, a lot of talent, a lot of expertise, and also access to to mainstream audiences, right? So I think that's something. I know it's starting to happen, and I think your research report also talks about it. That I think in 2024 the adoption by many of the traditional studios and so on would be higher, but what does it take for them to start really moving faster? I think that will really also propel adoption in this particular space.
Yeah, I think you said it well. Like, there are so many different things based on what you said. The first one, the game publishers, yes, obviously they are protecting the activities they already have. They are making money, so why you should change something which is working? But in the long run, you're gonna see that it might not be working as well as it was before. So they are very slow in terms of adoption. But as you said, we're seeing massive movement from companies like Ubisoft, from Square Enix as well, into the Web3 world, and it's not going to change. Like, a lot of them, big game publishers, gonna officially announce that they are part of the Web3 movement, and that's good. And for the differences between Europe and Asia, I think it depends on a lot of things. Mainly, you said Japan. I think Japan is an example based on the regulation, because from the start you have the governments giving a lot of clarity, visibility about what you should and could do if you are developing a game with blockchain mindsets in terms of the regulation. And I think that's not something you have in other countries yet.
Right. So linked to the challenges are perhaps also certain misconceptions that people may have about blockchain gaming. So what's your take on that, Flav?
Yeah, again, for the report, but also having my own analysis, the first things was crypto is a scam, or it's part of a bubble, or it's part of the dark web. So unfortunately, that's the kind of misconception we got. But I think based on something we all know as part of the ecosystem, which is based on what's happening in the crypto market. We often, I had fun. We went to Vivatech, which is a big tech event in Paris happening 2 weeks ago. And it was very interesting because it was a B2C event. A lot of families, a lot of dad, a lot of sons were there. And we're asking questions. What do you do? What is the future of gaming? And it was interesting to see that actually they are the one to understand better what it is. And when we explain ownership and everything, they tend to understand it, but the misconception for me comes from the one who are touching the crypto ecosystem and think that it's related to what is blockchain gaming, what are the fundamentals of the technology, which is not entirely true. Could be true in a sense, but blockchain is not crypto. Crypto is a part of the blockchain.
No, absolutely correct. And I think what also people see is often bad news is reported, right? So people only get to see the bad news, and therefore there's some kind of a fear factor. And perhaps, there are definitely bad eggs in any industry, right? So I think it's important for industry to also adopt some best practices, ensure that regulatory measures are in place to ensure that there is adequate trust that's built up with consumers. But now moving on to the entire positive side of the whole thing, right? I'm sure there are tons and tons of benefits, and that's the reason why there is going to be a lot of adoption, and we're going to see a spike in 2024. So it'll be great to hear some of the key benefits that you see that blockchain and gaming brings to the table.
Yeah, we already talked about that, but generate new revenue streams would be is one of them. Like we had interesting case from companies in the BGA saying that when they actually tokenize some digital assets with blockchain, they see an increase in terms of revenues, but this increase also lead them to have better retention and engagement within the game. So that's very interesting. That's very interesting metrics. You have this, but also in terms of ownership, like we talk about this briefly, but as a player, you should own your digital items. And you have so many examples in the Web 2 game world, which will help you and help any player to understand the value of ownership based on what they already do in the Web 2 world with a game like Fortnite, when game like FIFA and other games. When you don't have any ownership, it actually leads you to pay a lot of money and not doing anything about it if you want to drop the game or if you want to do anything based on your progress in the game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think so. And, so for instance, there was the play to earn kind of a model, where in 2021, initially, issuance of tokens and so on gave a huge, it generated a lot of interest. And then, but a lot of things were determined by the token price, and then prices tanked. And so people lost interest in that. But I guess we have gone through that cycle. And in 2024, again, with the bull run, hopefully, the issuance of tokens and airdrops and so on. So the entire play to earn kind of a model may see some resurgence and therefore some new economic models. But I think, the challenge clearly is how do you innovate on sort of reward models and so on, and how do you, come up with new concepts which are more sustainable, which will really, get people excited, right? So finally, I know BG is doing some fantastic work, but it'll be great to understand, what are some very specific things that you're doing in 2024 and beyond to accelerate adoption of blockchain gaming and really make it mainstream.
Our goal is to promote blockchain within the gaming industry. So we are in the industry, which means we help companies in order to understand what is blockchain gaming, but to work together. So our goal is communication, and the other goal is networking. So for the goal of communication, it's giving the visibility to a lot of our members to say what's happening in the ecosystem in terms of the tech, what you could do with that. So on that side, then our activity is going to be online activities with demo day. Like there are no better ways to do something like that with concrete example of the product or a concrete demo of the game, so you can understand the value of it. And online activities and offline activities, like we travel the world in order to attend gaming convention, invite our members at the booth and show what are they doing, like give credibility with the entrepreneurs who are building things at the booth, so they can have a proper conversation as well. So communication wise, but networking as well. So our goal for 2024 is to expand the activity of the BGA. We are very well represented in Europe, in the US. Our goal is to do the same in Latin America, in Asia as well, in India as well, specifically with the help of our members. So it will be that, like two main things will be to expand the network and to better communicate on what is blockchain and gaming.
Right, absolutely. And I think, personally, as a company, we are also seeing getting a lot of traction in the gaming space. And, if I look at the various verticals that people are building, app chains and roll-ups, the biggest vertical, honestly, is gaming, right? I think there's fantastic traction, and I think a lot of infrastructure will get created. I think there will be a lot more of, I think also the entire technology will take a leap, right? So I was also reading in a report that hopefully sooner than later, you will stop differentiating between Web 2 and Web 3 and just call it gaming, right? Exactly. Because it's like the early days where you had different forms of technology for software, and then it all became one. So I think these are very exciting times, and thanks so much, Flavien, for those wonderful insights. It was great catching up, and I think this conversation has set the foundation for my future conversations with other people in the gaming world, and hopefully we can build on that and share more exciting insights with our audience. Yeah, thank you.
Definitely, thank you very much.